Hey everybody, welcome back. Jesse here for 3Prong Game, and in today's episode we are going to finish wrapping up the functionality to allow our NPC to build a shack. This is promising to be a pretty short video, so grab your cup of coffee, open up your editor, and let's finish this thing off. Alright, like I said, this should be a pretty short episode. In the last episode, we set up the functionality, the core functionality, to allow the NPC to place a shack. We got the build shack here, so let's go ahead and just jump right into this and finish this up. Like I said, this should be a pretty short video. Come over here to find existing housing, find existing house. Let's grab our simple parallel, move to location, and the functionality right here, and we will just Control W this. Hopefully paste it in the right spot, and it doesn't, but that's okay. It's right there. And then let's just drop that in. Select your move to location. Let's make sure that the location type is home. Should be invisible. Yeah, we don't need to do that. Actually, that could be set to false. That could be set to false because we're going to add this right here. Yeah, we could do the same thing here. Let's just grab that and Control W it right here, and then plug this in as well, because we'll go invisible once we set the new residency here. So this really could probably be false. Not too big of a deal one way or the other. And let's make sure that this is all set up right. We'll set the name in here. What did we have it right here? Is at house. Is at house, and to make sure everything's set up properly, and it is house reference current, and check location. That's actually not set, so let's set that to home. All right, set new residency. Yes, it is a new residence, so let's leave that selected. Like I said, the enter building, this doesn't matter because the new residency, as we set that up a couple videos ago, will automatically enter the building, so it doesn't matter how this is set. That's the main one right there, is new residence. All right, and yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all we've got to do, and we can go and test this thing. There's actually a couple other things we got to do, but I want to go ahead and we can get this now to test it, make sure this is all set up right. I do want to make sure that I just wanted to make sure that the abort was on for that, so all this will abort if we change in the AI state. All right, so let's save this, jump out here, and let's go ahead and press play and cross our fingers. All right, let's just drop in some NPC here. We'll get one. They're gonna go, and oh, you know what? He's just going to find a house right there. What we need to do to test this is go into our buildings, residential, apartment, and in the defaults over here, in the building struct, max residence, let's just turn that down to 0. That way it won't allow anybody to move in. It'll think it's got full occupancy. And Control S, let's save it. Just so it will save. It's got to save the map because we've already got one in the world. So let's go ahead and try this again. Push play. Drop another NPC in the world and speed it up. And they built a house way over there. Why did they do that? And they moved into the house, but I don't understand why they built the house way over there. Let's drop in another one. Take a look at that and see what we may have did wrong. Didn't build a house, so it's trying to build it not right in front of it. Let's see, give her a second here. Still not building the house or shack. A little more open space out here. Oh, you know what? I think that's at coordinate 000. Okay, I think that's why I built it there, and it's trying to build the second one in the same location. So let's go take a look at this. because we never used the hit trace right here. Let me open up my cheat sheet and see what I did wrong. All right, okay. That's what we did wrong here. Yeah, we're not accounting for this. We're not setting the location of the shack. So let's go ahead and slide all this over. It was kind of in a hasty pattern yesterday. I apologize for that, to try to wrap up the video because it was taking a little longer than I want. Okay, so off the true branch, let's grab our shack reference. Let's get this, drop this in, and let's do set actor transform right there. We could probably, no, we need the rotation. All this off the true now. I was gonna say we could probably do location, but no, we're gonna need the rotation for this as well. So grab our shack reference. We're also gonna need this here. What did I do with that? Oh yeah, we'll do that in a minute. Okay, so we need the rotation, which is right here. Okay, we made the rotator up here off of the get the actor transform. We need the rotation of that. Okay, so let's pull this out. And I'm just going to add in a reroute node right there. Pull off this new transform. And let's do make transform. Okay, and the transform of this will be the location of our line trace right here. Remember, all we're doing with this line trace really is we're getting a new Z value based off of our actor, the NPC location, because, and I'll demonstrate this. I'll unlink this trace by channel and show you what it was doing, but where it's placing the buildings. But let's go ahead and take this rotation now and plug it into there. Double click for another reroute node. Okay, pretty this up a little bit. All right, so now we got the rotation to scale in there, and that should work. Let's hook up the execution pin right there. Okay, so now, yeah, cross our fingers, this should work. Let's go ahead and push play again. Drop in NPC, and let's watch them build the shack. Perfect. So now they got a house, and they're going to go find a job. Construction worker already found a job and should be going straight to work. All right, so let's drop in a few more, test it out. Just watch them scatter like ants and build their little house. All right, you can do this a bunch of times. Really, you can test this out to make sure that they're not going to place any buildings here over each other by just narrowing. Here, let's go in here in the random move to location. Just set this down to like 500 units or something like that, and they won't move very, very far before they try to build their house, which means when you place a lot of NPC in the world, there'll be a lot of overlap. So you can test it by that to make sure that the overlapping is working here. Why don't we do that? Just to show you, because like I said, this is pretty much done. There's one other functionality we need to add, but it's not going to really take me any time to explain it because the functionality is already there. So let's just go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, drop them all in here. We should get some. He's trying to build his house. See, he couldn't build his house right there. He can't build his house right there because of that. So now he's going to find a new location, and he found a house. So we know the overlap's working because he's trying to build a house right there. So you can see, and actually, nope, the way the model is, you can see it's sitting on the ground. This is because of that line trace. So if we go like this, come over here, I just want to demonstrate this. If we were to take this line trace out and not do this Z factor right here, let's just plug the is valid into the set actor transform. This location, I'm just going to run this right over here, take the location off of this, everything that just skips this line trace. Okay, so compile it and save it. Now we go back out here and we play it. If we drop in an NPC, they'll place the building just fine, but watch what happens here. See, it's up above the ground because the pivot point on the actor is the location of it. Pivot point is in the center. The only reason why the NPC is above the world is because of the capsule, because it's actually riding on the capsule, and he overlapped him, so he couldn't place his building because he was standing in the way. But now he can't. See, so all the buildings are going up. So like I said, the location is based off of that. So that's why we did that line trace right there. Really simple fix. So if you're getting, inaccurate results with the location, you can change this. You can make the trace go down a little bit further if you want. And really, you can make this a minus, so you don't have to do -200. I just like to know that I'm going down. When I do a -200 right here on a plus vector, it lets me know that, hey, I'm going down. You can see the -200 a little easier, and you can see the plus or minus on the node itself. All right, so let's just go ahead and plug all this back in like it was supposed to be and hook the location up right there, and that should work. All right, so now we still have one other issue with this, and it's not quite apparent. Let's drop him in and make sure that he's going to place the building with that. We hooked that all back up properly. Come on. There we go. Okay, so now the building's back down. All right, so the other issue is going to be slope, right? So let's put one out here and see what happens. See if he tries to build on a slope, or she. Okay, that one wasn't too bad. Let's try another one. I want to see if they build on a slope here. He's trying to build. I think he did build his house. He just can't get to it now. That's why he's stuck. So if we go back here and find his... I'm going to move this off screen for a second. Whoops, we can go over here. Check his... It's going to be the second one. I think this is it. So house, shack. See, that one's got a shack. We'll check all of them. Nope, this is the one that's stuck. He's trying to move to his location. So he did... what's he doing? See, he's just stuck. I think he's just stuck. He's still homeless. You can see right here, still homeless. A lot of it's because of the slope. He's trying to place on the slope, and he shouldn't be trying to... Oh, you know what? It might be because of the way the mountain's set up. But the slope is going to be an issue. I was hoping to get one to... My dog's drinking her water. Sorry about that. Get away, dog. And at least the neighbor dog's not barking anymore. He was just a few minutes ago, and that was pretty annoying. All right, so slope. What we got to do, remember back here in the, let's go into our buildings folder, grab our ghost building. We had the functionality to calculate slope. All right, now I've already done this on here. Oh, I've already done this on here. That's why he's not, that's why they weren't setting on the slope. And the reason why the NPC stuck is because he was trying to get on top of that hill, and there was no clear path. I just had a straight mountain, but there's still navigation information on there, and that was his location to try to go to. So that might be something to look forward to in the future, is making sure that if a path doesn't exist, that they can't try to go to it. But all right, I already did this. But we set all the functionality. We had some functions in here called calculate slope, get vectors, and what was the other one? Slope trace. All right, that's kind of a cheat right there I just showed you. But we had all the functionality in here in the Ghost Master. All right, separate functions. They say if you're going to use a function in more than one class, make it a global function, so then you can just use it anywhere and it's not that big of a deal. So that's what I ended up doing. We could have just taken all the information from the calculate slope, took the three functions, the get vectors and the slope trace and the calculate slope, and threw it in the task in here, because you can create functions inside of a task. But what's the point of that? You know, I mean, we could just copy and paste it and do whatever, but we need to make it a global function. So that's what I did. Remember back here, we've got in our libraries, we created the function library. All right, so in here, I just created three functions. I put two of them under slope, because get vectors, even though we use this for the slope trace, really we can use this anywhere, because remember, all this does is it gets an actor, rotation, location, forward vector, and it returns that. So that's all it is, and we can use this pretty much anywhere now as a global function. So we don't have to do get actor location. We can just type in get vectors and use this to get the vectors. So really back here, now that I did this, I can come back here and see, well, we got actor transform right here. If this wasn't a transform, if we got actor location, we could just type in get vector, and we got function library, get vectors, and we could just use that. But yeah, so back here in the function library, all I did, and this is why I'm not showing it because the functionality is already there, is just go in and create the new, copy everything over from your ghost building blueprint into these new functions in your function library. The only thing you're going to have to do when doing these is, when it was in the ghost building, everything was for the ghost building, so everything referenced itself already. But now that it's going to be global function, we can't get actor location of self here, and it's not going to see. It won't even let me disconnect that. What the heck? Oh, my keyboard's just not working. Yeah, my keyboard's, there it goes. My keyboard just wasn't working for some reason. There it goes. There we go. Target self, there is no self because this is a global function, so this has no reference. So what you just need to do is on get vectors, you need to add an input node here of actor. All right, and it's just an actor reference, and then just plug that into everything that needs the actor reference, which is the get actor rotation and get location. Okay, and then over here in the slope trace, same concept. You need the actor reference. And even with the original slope trace, we had an input of trace location. Okay, so that was already there. That's something we get from the get vectors, because the slope trace will be from the MPC, all right, from their current location. But we need the actor location is the only added input to this. Okay, and then over here in the calculate slope, this is the big one that we use, that we drop everything in. Okay, so now when you get in here, the main thing is create your local variables. You can still, even though it's function library, you can still create your local variables. But now, sorry about that, it is a noisy day today. Yeah, so in here, we need to create the extent reference and actor reference. This just makes it so, because we need to pass in the extent, because in the ghost building, the extent was already a variable in the blueprint. And so we didn't have to worry about bringing it into the calculation because we could just drag the variable out. But we're going to have to pass in, when we use the calculate slope anywhere, we're going to have to pass in the extent. And again, like the other two, we're going to need the actor reference. So right off the bat, I just store those into a local variable. And then just like the original, we have the array of differences, which is a float, and the max difference. Now, remember when you're moving this over, and I'll show you what it does if not, but remember when you're bringing this over, your max difference needs a default value of, I set mine for 20. This is pretty much your slope angle. This is kind of the difference between heights of your corners of your building. It's not really a slope per se, but it calculates if one corner is a difference of 20 or more units, centimeters, than any other corner, then it's considered to be too steep of a slope. Okay, so that's what that is. So don't forget to set your default there. Otherwise, you won't be able to place a building. And I'll show you that in just a second because we're only sitting at about 17, 18 minutes right at this point. So it's pretty short and sweet. So we can do one more test. And then, so when you drop in your new global variables here, get vector, we made this global function right here, get vector. All the globals that you drop in have a world context. Don't worry about adding anything not adding anything that's not going to hurt anything. I can't even tell you 100% why that's there or what that's for. I think world context, you could just plug the actor in here. I think the actor is the world context, but not a big deal. So yeah, just drop in, copy all your functionality over into the global function. All right. And then just to clean up your ghost building, come back over here into your tick event is where we had it. Drop in the new calculate slope from the function library. The actor is a reference to itself and extent. Remember, I just said we had up here that we set in the begin play, which is right here. We set the extent from the mesh bounds. Okay, so That is that. So just drop those in, put that in, and then test it out. So just like you could see, we put it in, push play, the ghost building. Come on. There we go. And of course, it's off the screen. But now if we take this, you can see everything is working like it was before. Now let me just show you what happens if you forget to set your max difference, because I did this even when I redid it in both my cheat sheet project as well as this project right here that you're seeing. I forgot to set that. So this is what happens. So if you get this result, you know it's because of not setting your default value. Come on. Why is it taking forever? All right. You won't be able to set it. You'll see a couple spots in here, like right there. You could place one right there because it's perfectly flat in all 4 angles. But yeah, otherwise it's not going to work. If you get this result, it's because you forgot to set the default values of, where are they at? What the heck happened here? There we go. You forgot to set the default here, which was 20 that we set in the past ones. So yeah, that is it. So slope should not be a big deal right at this point. Let's Control S and save everything. And yeah, it took a little bit. I took a little more time to try to explain this, and I probably anticipate I actually expected this to probably be just a few minutes shorter, probably about 5 minutes shorter. But you know me, I like to talk. So if we just drop in, we still got this set to 500 units, so we'll need to go back and change that. But if you just drop in a bunch of NPC here, they're all just going to go and build shacks. And those are going to be their houses. They're going to go find jobs, set up your construction, and we'll set up another one right there. And yeah, so they're just going to go to town. They're going to build houses, build some shacks if there's no place to live. Now, if you want to test this, again, let's go like this. And I'm going to change this distance back to 2000. Okay. And let's go back into our apartment building right here. And let's set the building struct max residence. Let's set this back up to 5. So we'll drop in, I don't know, like 7 or 8 NPC. Let's save everything. Okay. Let's go ahead and play it again. Yeah, I must just have too much going on the computer. It's lagging a little bit. Okay, so we drop in some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, let's speed that up. So 5 of them should go find a place to live. And then the other 5 should go build a shack. We'll see here in a second. All right, everybody. I just want to give a quick addendum. I figured out what the bug was. It wasn't too big of a deal, so I just wanted to add this on to the end of the video to show you what it was. It was no big deal. It doesn't deserve its own video. So the problem here, if we go into find housing, because he was having problems finding housing, so double click that, open that up, just track backwards. This is how I did the bug. I could show you exactly where it was, but I want to show you the bug. And then check for housing. Open that up. I looked through here. Everything seemed to be okay, but we got this other function, apply for residency. Open that up. This is pretty simple. Apply for residency. It just uses this function. So open up this function, and right there you can see number of residents. It's not comparing max residents against number of residents. That is where the bug was at. Compile it and save it. Now if we come back out here and we press play, if we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Drop that in. 5 are going to go find house there, and we should get 5 shacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, and he's trying to build in front of there. That's not going to work, so I'll find a new place. And our 5th shack right there. So bug is squashed. Like I said, it's been a noisy day. So as always, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please do me a favor, go down and hit that like button. It helps me out a ton. If you're new to the channel, while you're down there liking it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. And until next time, peace.